Namaste. We are here at the International Center, the Art of Living, and on this very special occasion, when the founder of the Art of Living, Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar ji, he just completed his 70 years, and this movement, the spiritual global movement of India, has celebrated 45 years of its inception. And on this occasion, we have with us a few devotees who have been associated with art of living and the movement. We will just going to, discuss with them how do they see this journey, what has been their experience, what is the secret of success behind this movement. So we have Jayana Didi. She has been with the Secretariat of Art of Living. We have Parag ji, is a businessman based in Mumbai, but has been a teacher for more than 24 years. Now he has been associated with the thing. Avinash ji is there with us. He has been also a sort of trainer. Then ji, first of all, for all of you, how is the feeling? You have been associated with this movement, 45 years, Prime Minister came and he spoke about, the contribution of art of living. So how do you see this entire journey?
So I think I see this journey and this time, especially these 45 years that we're celebrating, it's a time of immense pride for us. It's a time of pride, but I would also say it's a time of feeling humble to understand that there's so much more to do in the world. Gurudev's work has today touched 182 countries around the world. Close to 1 billion people have been impacted by Gurudev. But we still know that there is so much need in the world for Indian spirituality, for dharma, for meditation, for good mental health. So there's a lot more to be done too.
So what is your experience, Parag?
I am just feel very happy and privileged that there is this platform to serve the country. I studied from Wharton School in USA. I came back to India because I wanted to do something for India always. I could have done very well there, but I wanted to come back. But there was no platform that I found which was right for me. But when somehow circumstances brought me to Art of Living, and I felt very happy, and I feel I've lived a very fulfilling life through Art of Living, serving the country, and also improved my own life also. And it's just a very great blessing and privilege for me.
We'll come to that, how the Art of Living has helped you in your personal life. But Avinash ji, what is your experience?
I think it's an celebration of the expression which we feel inside and how it can really touch so many lives. Because you see, if I talk, there is so much to do. When we see anything around, we feel this needs to be made better, this can be better, but there is no platform. And the beautiful part with Art of Living is it gives you technique which you feel empowered within, calm within, and you can make a difference outside. So I think this 45 years is that celebration of inside and outside together. And I think we are very happy that, this is happening right in front of our eyes.
See, having your, continuing with your personal professional life and then being associated with some movement is not an easy task. 20, most of you have been associated with the Art of Living for more than 20 years. So what is the secret? Because, continuously having, the young blood coming in the organization, the original message has to remain intact, but still you have to customize with the changing needs of the society, the demand of the youth. So how this movement has been adapting itself over this period?
So if you're asking me, it was a question which I asked Gurudev in 2003-04. I said, Gurudev, can I be successful in spiritual and business? Because I was a business person. So he said, yes, absolutely, you can be 200% successful. He said, for business, for spiritual life, you need bhakti and mukti. And for success in your business, you need shakti and yukti. And coming here in doing your sadhana, doing seva, being part of this whole spiritual it will give you all these four. And it's really true. It turned out to be exactly that. I feel today I'm a successful person in my business and have grown spiritually. It's because of this.
But as a while training, especially the youth.
I feel because Gurudev, if we see Gurudev, he is so, I will say, he has that wisdom of an absolutely such an brilliant wisdom. At the same time, he's so free, joyful like a child. And I think that you can resonate any moment of time, whether you're old, whether you're young. And I think with time, we have seen because of that programs and the wisdom, I think everybody somehow relates to it. And in my last 20 years, I think I did my program, I was in college. And somehow I teach the young generation now. I think somehow there is the same connect. Obviously, there's a little change in the way they look, but I think the connect is the same because I think it touches the heart. I think that goes beyond the time.
So true.
Didi, you have worked with the secretariat closely. Over the period of time, do you think that there was some tweaking with the courses and the the content, delivery of the content?
Over the years, what I've seen is, and I've been over 30 years now in the art of living, actually there has been no tweaking of the content because the content itself is so powerful and it is timelessly relevant. What I have, as he said, you have youth and you have elderly people, you have children and you have people, who are in their middle ages. All of them can relate to this content. And they can also relate to Gurudev's persona because his persona has so much wisdom, yet it is childlike and playful. In fact, I was just wanting to share this, that, one of the mottos of our movement is smile and serve, meditate and celebrate, right? So when you smile, it is your inner happiness that is radiating outside. Serve is what you can do best for your country, for your nation, for the world. Meditate, that is for your own inner peace, mental health, and celebrate. Find happiness in every aspect of life. Now you tell me, isn't this relevant to anybody of any age group, of any time? Even in today's time of AI and this, this challenge of social media and the pressures that the younger generation face, I find that they all want to come back to these basic principles, that we want to be happy, we want to do something and contribute. And I think that in our country now, youth are more and more wanting to come and contribute for nation building. I'm seeing that big change, isn't it, Avinash?
Absolutely.
The last few years, youth are, I can't say children now, they're youth, but they're coming back in big numbers say, I want to do something for my country, like he came back. And Gurudev is giving this platform where we are so deeply rooted in our culture, along with being so international. Like, we are running over 1,500 educational institutions. 1,356 are free. And the motto of these institutions is broaden your vision and deepen your roots. That means look out to the world. That's what Gurudev says. But go deep in your Sanskriti, in your Bharatiyata, into your civilization. And that's what I feel.
You have handled, global operations also.
Yes.
As you said, more than 180 countries now.
Yes.
So when we find it so many issues in India where people are discussing which language is ancient, which is earlier than when actually we have the concept of chakra and the cyclical thing. So there is no question of these are the questions that the people who think linear way that they need to address. But today at least you have platforms, AI or Google Translation, where the language barriers can be broken with the help of technology. But when it was started, reaching out with this message of spirituality to so many countries, how was that made possible?
I'll tell you one thing. It was made possible because of one person's determination to see a smile on every face, and that is Gurudev. He has worked ceaselessly and tirelessly. He has traveled to every country himself, and he has made personal connections. Our original movement, and even now, one of our trusts, it is called the Vyakti Vikas Kendra. That is Gurudev's aim, that the individual should blossom. So he made these connections everywhere himself, personally, through his own magic and charisma, but also through the deep wisdom of India. I was reading a book by one of our senior American devotees, where he said that, when he met Gurudev and how Gurudev taught him meditation and how it transformed his life. And he was so inspired that he took this to 20 countries around the world. So that is how this magic has happened in the age where there was no AI, no internet, no social media, all of that. It's happened, Gurudev says so beautifully, we all know that only a lit flame can light another flame, right? So as you light your own lamp, you spread the beauty and the light outside. And that's how we did it. That's how Gurudev did it, actually.
Today I interviewed him and he said, he explained Sanatan in such a beautiful way. He said, it's a combination of Puratana and Nutana.
Yes.
So, this combination. But my question is, I see, followers coming from Central Asia, Russia, Latin America, Africa. America and Europe, I can understand where, little bit of English is always. But in these countries where either their languages or Spanish, these are the languages.
Correct.
So how that connect means, of course, there must be a spiritual force behind it, but still the communication in terms of verbal communication.
So I think, of course, we had translators in those days. And we had a lot of, initial devotees who were very dedicated. Like, when I went to France to teach for a little while, and they learnt English to be able to communicate with the Guru. So that's how it happened in the early days. They learnt English so that they could communicate with Gurudev. And as you said rightly, that it's the spiritual force, the spiritual connection, the personal connection with the Guru. और हमारे देश में तो यही है ना कि गुरु जो है वो he is both personal and universal. तो हमें लगता है भाई ये मेरा ही है, ये गुरु मेरे हैं, लेकिन ये सारी दुनिया के हैं. तो ऐसे ही हम लोग जुड़े हैं इस मूवमेंट में, इसीलिए हम देखते हैं कि close to 1 billion people have become part of this. Gurudev's dream of a one world family.
Parag ji, you talked about your business part and the art of living part. कितना इफेक्ट करता है, मतलब ऐसे किसी मूवमेंट के साथ जुड़े रहना एंड पर्सनली आपने सक्सेसफुल होना, what are those qualities that or what are those ingredients that help you perform in your professional and personal life, which is beyond your organizational activities?
See, every business faces some tough times. There is no business which goes always smooth, right? And life is also like that. What the art of living, the spiritual knowledge which has given me is the inner strength to face the circumstances. And with these inner strength, that confidence also, that self-confidence also. How can I tell you? I mean, in 2002, when I did the course, I was really shattered. I mean, my father's business was in BIFR. My job, I had taken up a corporate job where I was a failure. From there, I went into that. And from there, again, I restarted the business. My father was also able to turn around his business. I was also able to turn it around. And it just, everything moved around. It's just that there are two things. One is you get the inner strength and confidence. And the second thing, I don't know how easily you will be able to understand or accept it, but it's a personal experience that there is a lot of grace. And this grace factor, I cannot convey to another person. It's a personal experience.
No, that has to be there.
When you,
when
you start doing when you start opening on this path, on spiritual path, you'll see that somewhere you create the patrata, what we say, you create that ability to take the grace. And the grace flows abundantly. And that's what transformed my life.
No, that grace factor has to be there. But the 99% part,
the effort
whether effort part or skill part. So generally, if you speak to the younger generation now, they see, your material prosperity and your spiritual growth as, antithetical to each other. So how did you,
No, it is not antithetical. It is 100% complementary and supportive. That is my experience.
But business is all about, material thing, manipulating. That is the perception.
Unethical business karenge, so definitely you will find that you may rise for a short time, but then you will come down. So that's the key thing. One of the first things, in 2003, there was a seminar here, Corporate Culture and Spirituality, which Gurudev has started. And I had attended that. It is addressing exactly these points. And so many top business leaders came and they said how it is their ethics, their spiritual values which made their organization successful. And so listening to such leaders in this platform also gave me that clarity that spirituality will, like Gurudev said, na, spirituality and business will, both you can succeed. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप बिजनेस में सक्सीड होंगे और स्पिरिचुअलिटी में नहीं बढ़ सकते आगे, या स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ में आगे बढ़ेंगे तो बिजनेस पीछे रह जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं है. वो स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ ने ही मुझे ताकत दी है टू डू बेटर इन बिजनेस.
जैसे भगवत गीता तो भगवान कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को रणभूमि में ही दी थी ना, वो तो वैसे ही है.
ये है, और ये मेरा अनुभव हो गया. What can I say?
I think
No, but that is helpful for the yes.
but I think मन शांत होने के बाद decision making तो better हो ही जाती है.
सही है.
हाँ,
बिल्कुल.
That is one part of it, but वहाँ पे भी एक बहुत बड़ा द्वंद्व business world में रहता है ना. You know, certain times you have to deal with your rival, deal with your some bureaucrat or some state machinery, some legal fellow, and those things are so complicated, which sometimes disturb you.
Correct.
Can I jump in here? I can just tell you that in yoga we learn yoga karmasu kaushalam. So when you go on the path of yoga, that gives you the skill to handle all these diverse situations that you need in business. In fact, I mentioned to you that I didn't do well in the corporate life. It was because I was too blunt. I was not very self-righteous. I was not skillful in my communication. When I came here, I learned the skill of communication. How to take people along with you. Not just be self-righteous and doing mera hi chalega. तो वो नहीं. When I learned to take people along, my success story. And that came from the spiritual knowledge.
Sometimes you have to
गीता में कहा है योगा कर्मसु कौशलम, उसमें सब आ गया.
Sometimes you have to communicate hard things softly.
You have to. You have to deal with all personalities in the business world.
No, and when you are in a group and organizational life, you learn how to accommodate people, how to adjust with different situations.
You have to communicate skillfully.
One particular thing I was curious about. I was watching that short film also. This about course and interactions with the prisoners. Did you have any experience
Yes,
of
yes.
So means how that idea started and why Gurudev's message was so successful, because they are supposed to be very, very dreaded, and prison is supposed to be one place where they are virtually kept out from society because they are antisocial animals.
Absolutely.
And then now Art of Living is accommodating them even in the ashram structure and giving them a new lease of life. So
I think because there are two things. Number one, for Gurudev there is no, I will say, boundary. There is nobody who's not his own. तो उनके लिए कोई पराया नहीं है. तो उस ना पराये में तो वो भी आ जाते हैं. Plus he feels they have been totally, like as you said, they have been alienated. So if you leave them like that, they come out as a little bit more dangerous criminals. So I think his compassion, thinking that we have to even give them this solution which can really help them. And that is the reason we have seen so many of them coming out as different human beings altogether. Because मन शांत की जरूरत तो मेरे को तो है ही, but I think उसको ज़्यादा जरूरत है. And there is nobody to even give that, think that I am there for you. So whenever trainers go there, they somehow feel that they have come for me, really. And when they see that unconditional thing, they don't want anything from them. They are teaching breathing, meditation, being a part of their, listening to them. They really kind of, I will say, melt. And I think because again, that same thing that Gurudev, there is no boundary in terms
barrier,
of.
But when was this started?
The prison program was started in the late 90s, and today the prison program is, we've touched over 800,000 prisoners in close to 70 countries, especially in the prisons of Scandinavia, Denmark, and all those countries. Of course, India, Tihar Jail, our programs have done a lot of good for the prisoners. And Gurudev is saying, so many times we read, Gurudev says, inside every culprit, there is a victim crying out for help. And we have to give them that help. We have to understand that Gurudev has said this many times. कि कभी-कभी वो prison में जाते थे, तो he has personally interacted with so many prisoners in many of the large prisons and smaller prisons also. तो कई बार वो पूछते थे कि भाई ये कैसे हुआ आपने, ये कैसे किया? How did you, what happened to you that made you commit this? And that person says कि गुरुदेव मुझे पता नहीं चला कि क्या हुआ उस क्षण में. So what Gurudev is saying is कि कभी ऐसे हो भी जाता है, but we have to give the person a chance to rehabilitate, reform and integrate back into society. And that can only happen from a space of compassion. You know, that's very important.
And unconditional love, I think.
Unconditional love,
unconditional
yes.
compassion. Because I have taught a
Absolutely.
lot in Tihar jail myself. And you, when you enter, you feel like, I think this batch, इनका कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. And because the way they look at you and their entire, you also feel little uncomfortable. But it is incredible that not in one course, every course across all trainers, all jails, last day they are a different human being altogether. They are like crying, they are like hugging you, they are like, what can we do? And then their own way, they want to contribute back. They said, हम भी कैसे जुड़ सकते हैं, बाहर आएंगे, कैसे करेंगे, सेवा कैसे कर सकते हैं. कुछ लोगों ने तो, एक prisoner ने तो ऐसा बोला, he said, हम आपके कारण यहाँ पे आ गए हैं. तो मैंने बोला, ऐसा कैसे बोल रहे हो आप? He said, आप पहले आ गए होते हमारे जीवन में, पहले कोर्स करा दिया होता तो यहाँ आते ही नहीं. मनी नहीं ठीक. So you suddenly feel more responsible that, you know, okay.
और ये हम आपने ही, आप लोगों ने ही ना तिहाड़ जेल में सब में हमने स्किलिंग भी शुरू किया है ना. We've done a lot of skilling in some of the jail skilling programs. Some of the prisons.
Education is one of the important verticals that the art of living is undertaking. So how is it different from, because our education system, you know, for last so many years we have been talking about nationalizing education, bringing Indian values from 1949 Radhakrishnan report or Kothari Commission, and now even National Education Policy. Prime Minister has given a task by 2035 we should get rid of this, you know, Macaulay's education system. So why and how? Because I have been to the with the Pathshala also. I got a very interesting picture where on the one hand, you know, this you know, Agama training and the typical Gurukul tradition. On the other hand, in typical dhoti, they were playing cricket. So there was a basketball ground. So what is that difference? Because most of them were doing things in Sanskrit and Kannada. So why and how it is different from?
So one is this aspect of the Gurukul education, where Gurudev is reviving and focusing on the traditional classical Gurukul system, where they learn all the Vedas, the Agamas, you know, they chant and they learn in Sanskrit. But along with that, they get a regular, you know, they get their standard 10 regularly. They do that. And as you said, they're on the computer with their dhoti, veshti, and they're playing basketball, football, and all of that. Another aspect of the education, so we're running close to 20 Gurukuls across the country. The largest and the main one you saw today in the Bangalore ashram. Another aspect of our education is that we are running 1,356 free schools across the country. Now, these schools are serving the most, I would say, the most deprived populations of our country.
I had a conversation with Amma also.
You did, right? With Amma as well. So that is one aspect. Another aspect of the education is that we're running 121 regular paid institutions, which are 106 schools, which are CBSE, ICSE, State Board, plus, you know, the rest are higher education institutions, which include our Sri Sri University. So now the difference there that we do is, from the beginning, is that we make sure that every child or every youth that goes through our system, they learn meditation, they learn Kriya, they learn the intuition process. I think you saw the intuition process demo, where Gurudev says that education is going beyond what we perceive through our five senses. It is tapping into the higher,
approach,
tapping into the higher consciousness, tapping into that field of absolute intelligence. That's also AI. In this age of AI, that's also another AI. So all our children in all our free and paid schools and even the Gurukuls, they undergo all of this. Along with that, in our regular paid schools in the metros like Bombay, Delhi, wherever, the children learn Sanskrit chanting right from the nursery level. In fact, when the new education policy, you know, came out, and it's an absolutely fantastic way forward for our country and a lot of work to implement it, we know that. But when we were reading it in our education vertical, and we said, oh, but we've been practicing most of this without putting it into a policy framework, you know. So like the Indian culture, focusing on Indian languages, focusing on meditation, on the seva aspect, human values aspect, also mixing children of different age groups. Children learn best from each other actually. More than what the teacher or the blackboard or the computer can teach them. You will learn with your own peers or people or kids of different ages, you know. So all of that we've already incorporated into our education system. And I think that was Gurudev's, I would say, great visionary approach to education, which many people don't know. We just talk of Sudarshan Kriya and all of that, but this is a visionary approach to education that Gurudev has given us.
See, today we are seeing, a lot of disturbances at different levels in the world. And Parag ji, you must be experiencing it more being in the business part of it.
Sure.
The conflicts, the geopolitics, the geoeconomics, the data monopolization. So, different, there are 427 conflict zones currently active in the world. Though two main wars are going on.
Of course, yeah.
And third front might open any time. How do you see, where do you see the role for the movement like the art of living in this turmoil?
So Gurudev has always emphasized that the way to global peace is through individual peace. So he has really, first we have all internal life turmoils. So to cope with that, he gave a spiritual course in a package with some techniques to manage your mind, to become more peaceful. Now, once you have become more peaceful, you can be an agent for peace. If you have stress and anger and angst against all the injustices in the world going on, and then that comes out as conflict and more anger and more, that's adding more fuel to the fire. So first we all learn to manage our own mind to become peaceful, and then we become agents for peace. And that's what I see many of the art of living teachers are. With Gurudev's blessings and guidance, they are able to do that. There is also a conflict resolution team. There are people who are specializing in conflict resolution. And they can help on everything, not at every level, not just at these geopolitical level, but even individual family level or business level or a legal conflict level. So yeah, really Gurudev is making sure that no part of the society is untouched to create this vision of global peace and create a global happy family.
But Didi, even if there is a personal level peace, nation states are there, boundaries are there, national interest defined in terms of, maybe some business interest or some oil interest or, technological patent interest. So, how art of living can contribute means after, such a long journey? I'm talking little bit of, the present and the future trajectory. Where do you feel that art of living at this collective level? We have seen, in critical civil level conflicts, art of living and Gurudev, he has played a critical role. But when I'm talking about, two nations, boundaries are disputed, colonial legacies are there, oil and technology like resource-based conflicts are there. So where do you think that, these spiritual aspects can help us?
That's a very good question, I think you've asked me. But I'd like to go a little bit deeper here and say that conflicts actually begin when two people have a dispute, right? Or there's a contention. Then it becomes a legacy and a historical issue and a historical conflict.
Miscommunication, distrust, all these things are there.
This is a good point also, distrust. So I know that, when Gurudev travels and he meets so many people, they are looking for a mediator who's neutral, who doesn't have a vested interest on either side of the conflict, but who can sit on the table and who can give a fair and an unbiased guideline or a guidance to them. And as you rightly said, see, today there is greed. Nations want to get richer. at the same time, we also are seeing a change in nations, in the mindset of nations. We have Bhutan, which focuses on the happiness index. We have other nations that have set up a ministry of loneliness, right? A ministry of happiness. So we are finding that even governments are understanding the need for looking beyond just revenues, finances, and all of that. And there is also a need for a neutral mediator. And that is where the art of living and Gurudev, with its fundamental principles, can play and continue to play such an important role. Gurudev's absolutely, his neutrality, his unbiasedness, it's indisputable. The second part is what art of living offers, the happiness quotient, the mental health quotient, the focus on, people not being lonely, giving community, giving help, giving support. Sangha, हम बोलते हैं ना, सत्संग, सेवा, साधना और संग भी होता है ना लोगों का. So all of that combined is where art of living and Gurudev can truly play a big role.
If I ask you, Avinash, where do you see after 45 years art of living movement?
I think maybe next other planets. No, but
because
think
182 countries are
that's
already touched.
No, I feel still a lot of work. So many people. I think we have reached 1 billion people, but I think there is quite a big number, right? And I think more institutionalization of our programs, the way people are thinking, the element of service being included. I think there is a lot of scope yet. And I think a lot of work, but 45 years down the line, I think.
And perhaps sustainability and development, because generally even these are things.
Yes.
As a businessman, you want to have economic progress, but you at the same time listen to Gurudev's guidance on protecting environment and sustainability. So
that's why this the spiritual aspect in business is so important, because otherwise there will be unbridled greed. If you have capitalism without any spiritual aspect, then you have just grabbing of resources, and that will definitely lead to conflict. And when you bring the spiritual aspect, you figure out how to grow harmoniously. You don't have to destroy the environment to prosper. In fact, environment becomes a source of prosperity. That's how your outlook changes. So that's why the spiritual education is very, very critical to the world. And I would say, if you say next 45 years, I really hope the spiritual knowledge really spreads to more and more people. So we will then eventually have a society which is happy, peaceful, and where people love and respect each other. I don't think conflict will be 100% eliminated, but certainly hope that it will be much less than what it is today.
If lastly, we can keep talking, because all of you have so much of treasure and experiences. But if I want to ask Avinash, one incident in your journey with the art of living that stayed with you.
There are many, but I assume it's again with Gurudev, because I did my program in 2006 while my engineering, and the reason I got inspired was the work I saw in Kashmir, because I'm coming from Kashmir, and in 1990 the turmoil which happened, and I saw a video where I saw one ex-militant sharing his experience, saying how his life transformed after doing the Art of Living program, which I did not believe in, because I thought that's a fictional character. But then I really found out that's real, and I decided to do this as a full-time. And apparently many years back Gurudev had said that you are from Kashmir, you should be working there. Now that I thought was a very general statement, but okay, he's saying, but somehow when you see a bigger perspective, that was 2007, 6, 7, and a few years back he said, go back to Kashmir and work. Now for me, going back to Kashmir is itself a very, very big challenge.
Your own victim mode comes into
totally
play.
big time. Big time, and because as a childhood that memory suddenly
एक action में बहुत सारी चीज solve हो रही है.
So I'm thinking, what is like, and you go there, the food habits, the place, and apparently started working, and I was astonished, surprised, and really that how people were welcoming me as an art of living trainer, and how they were so waiting for Gurudev's wisdom in Kashmir, and that too from the mainstream society there. And that gave me such a different perspective, and then slowly our program started happening. And eventually Gurudev came last year there with a program with 20,000 people meditating with him for drug-free Kashmir. So I will say that, what he would have envisioned for maybe 15 years later, he could not understand. And that is how I realized that, what Gurudev has seen for each one of us and for the global planet. I think it's phenomenal. I think that is my one very strong thing that from one
For
Kashmir
you,
to...
Parag ji, what was one thing that stayed with you always? One
It's a little bit of a
incident,
story. If I try to say it in a few words, it's just that, I mentioned about grace, right? So once I had I signed up for a course in Germany, and then I said, what if people keep talking about grace? I have paid, I have bought my ticket, I'll reach. What's the big deal? But I went to USA. On the way back to Germany, my keys, I left it inside the car and locked the car somehow. Then I was in a jam. Then I went praying, started immediately remembering Gurudev, I want to be there, I don't want to miss this session, this is a very special, and all this started. For 1 hour, everything was nothing, no help from anywhere. I tried everything, I went to the mall, everything. After I'd completely given up, I said, my flight must have taken up now. I was just feeling a little depressed, how I blew it. Somebody comes up to me and says, you need some help, it seems. Then I told him. So then he arranged for somebody he was a mall manager. He arranged for the car to open up. I drove like crazy. I reached the Lufthansa desk. Sorry, flight is just closed. But let me see what I can do. She calls the pilot. She requests for one more passenger just for me. She says, okay, looks like you're very stressed. I'm giving you business class ticket. She had somebody escort me to the gate, pass everything. And then I sat down, and then when I got a soft drink from the air hostess, without grace, I cannot be there for sure. So I said in a very short way, but it's really a story that after that, and then yesterday Swami Chidanand Saraswati ji was here and he said, आपको लगता है आप कुछ टिकट खरीद लिया और पहुंच गए, ऐसा नहीं है, यहाँ गुरु की कृपा से ही होता है. And I could totally relate with what he said.
तो आपको भी कोई टिकट मिल गया? आजकल हम ज्यादातर जर्नलिज्म में टिकट मिल गया तो फिर वी थिंक डिफरेंट वेज, पॉलिटिकल बंगाल असम कवर करने के बाद तो अभी और भी मन में होगा. But what is your experience?
Actually there are so many experiences, miracles, so many people who come meeting Gurudev every day. But what touches me the most is that we talk of 182 countries, big achievements done by Gurudev and by the art of living. But what touches me the most, Bhaiya, is that Gurudev will ask every person, are you happy? आपको आज पूछा था ना? हाँ. Are you happy? Have you eaten? तुमने खाना नहीं खाया? तुम खुश हो ना? That is what touches me कि गुरुदेव को finally यही चाहिए. That we are all happy, that we feel comfortable, we feel connected.
But any particular incident that stayed with you?
There are
that influenced
many,
your thought process?
There are many, but so, in the early days, as you said, those days when there was no technology, so we used to print all of Gurudev's emails and, give it to him. And those days we were preparing for our silver jubilee of the art of living. And, we were getting faxes and letters from people from all over the world, important people, ministers. उस वक्त President Kalam आए थे, 2 और president भी आए थे. तो ये सब चल रहा था, minister ये वो. So we were making all his files, in the office. कि ये सब आए हैं, letters वगैरह, important. फिर जो कुछ personal letters थे, वो भी हमने डाल दिए थे एक file में. तो हम लोग गए गुरुदेव की, गुरुदेव ये सब है, urgent, important. बोले हाँ, पढ़ लो. Then he asked, isn't there anything else? He asked the secretary, Dinesh Bhaiya at that time. Isn't there anything else? So Dinesh Bhaiya said, nahi, aur to kuch nahi hai, Gurudev. Then Gurudev has picked up the file that we have printed as personal. And he's looked inside the file and ऐसे एक paper निकाला और बोला, ये important नहीं है क्या? And that was a letter from some person saying that Gurudev, please मुझे आप बुला लो, नहीं तो मैं तो कुछ मैं मेरी जान ले लूँगा. मुझे इतनी डिफ़िकल्टी हो रही है जीवन में, आप मुझे एक फ़ोन कर लीजिए गुरुदेव. अभी ये गुरुदेव ने कैसे देखा, कैसे उसको निकाला. और हम लोग तो सब बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर रहे थे, ये आ रहे हैं, प्रेसिडेंट कलाम आ रहे हैं. नहीं, ये इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है क्या? और तुरंत फिर दिनेश भैया ने वो भक्त को फ़ोन किया और बुलाया. और उस वक्त मुझे लगा कि गुरु के लिए सब कुछ महत्वपूर्ण है. दुनिया में सबसे बड़ी भी चीज महत्वपूर्ण है और सबसे छोटी चीज भी महत्वपूर्ण है। इसीलिए ये गुरु तत्व है और इसीलिए हमारे देश में आप देखेंगे सदियों से ये जो धारा बह रही है ज्ञान की, गंगा की, ये गुरुओं के द्वारा ही ये बह सकती है और ये भारतवर्ष में ही हो सकता है। दैट इज द रियलिटी बिकॉज द गुरु इज सो यूनिवर्सल एंड सो पर्सनल।
Thank you for sharing.
Thank
all
I just
those
want to say one more thing.
experiences.
He was saying, "No, Gurudev was asking everybody, are you happy? Are you?" So like that, once I was standing in line, he was going. 5,000 people were there. Are you happy? Are you? When he came to me and my wife, he's asking me, "Is she happy?"
That's a tricky question.
Are you making her happy? Are you keeping her happy?
So very
Tricky question.
subtly he asked me about my happiness, and I also told you what I have to do.
So the basically the art of living is the art of giving also, and giving happiness to others.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the important thing. So thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
your
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
experiences and
having
your
us.
personal
Yes.
insights into this entire movement.
Yeah.
So viewers, this is from Bengaluru Ashram of the Art of Living, and we just try to gauge how people get connected, and this beautiful journey of Sanatana Rashtra called Bharat, that has been, at some point of the time, some guru comes up, inspires the society to take up some cause and dedicate their lives, besides, their personal and professional life, do something for society, do something for nation, do something for humanity. And that is why Bharat is different from other countries. I believe the movements like Art of Living makes and registers that difference, not just in Bharat but all over the world. I hope you enjoy this special coverage of Organizer on 45 years of the Art of Living. Be happy, stay healthy. Thank you very much for watching Organize.